Hello guys, we are the group number 4 and today we're gonna tackle about when technology and humanity cross. So as human being try to discover new things and invent innovative solutions for the consumption of society, my questions would be what does these technologies reveal about society? Did man truly become more productive? If it has, to what expense are these technologies for better or for worse sa atong society? Then unsaon na to pag-find og balance knowing nga kaning technologies kay nay mga advantages o disadvantages. So hopefully this discussion will give us light in answering these questions when technology and humanity cross. Next slide please. So, objectives. Here's what you can expect to learn from this interesting topic. First, at the end of the lesson, you must be able to illustrate the different technological advancements in society. Number 2, discuss the development of science and technology in the Philippines specifically. And number 3, discuss the effects of the interplay between technology and humanity through the dilemmas they face. Number 4, learn about robotics and humanity and ethical dilemmas faced by robotics. Next. Now let's talk about the history of technology, specifically mobile phones. So, cellular phones. So, kaning mga Nokia and walkie-talkie na phones, mao pa ni ang na-introduce before, mga 1990s. Ang gi-offer pa sa telecommunication companies before kay tawag ra call service. Then later na-introduce na sad ang SMS, short message service or kanang texting. Mao to uso kay sa unang panahon kanang text. So kada ato it became the reason why Filipinos wanted to have a cell phone. So karong 20th century, nagka-improve na atong mga mobile phones. Touchscreen na. So, if you compare ang mobile phone sa una o karon, mas durable jud ang sa una nga mga phone. Bisag kapila pa matagak, ti jud maguba. Pero ang mga phones nowadays, kay dako jud kay siya kalahian og improvement compared before. Bisag mas lig-on pa to or mas durable pa to sa una. Why? Because it introduced us to a world of apps such as music, entertainment such as Netflix, games like Mobile Legends, social interactions which is Facebook, and etc. So, ang mobile phones karon kay all-in-one device na siya. No wonder why people in our society argue that technology has become necessity or a need rather than a want. By definition, ang need is essential to survive, just like foods, clothing, or housing. Kung gamiton ta na nga definition, we may want to say na makasurvive raman ta bisag way cellphone, but the question is, how come it has become a need? Well, in addition to that definition, ang need includes tools that a person uses to perform tasks and duties. So, working definition na siya. So, I will give you one specific example why it became a necessity. So, karon nga na ay COVID-19 pandemic, makaingon jud ta nga ang cellphone is no longer a want but need sa mga estudyante o mga teachers para di ma-stop og mapadayon nato ang education or atong pag-eskwela. Next slide, please. So, the origin of the word technology are two Greek words, techne and logo. Techne, which means art, skill by which a thing is gained. And logos, which means word or discourse. So, putting the two words together, technology means a discourse of arts. But nowadays, technology began to have a wider meaning, just like machine and tools, which is more popular sense of the world right now. So in general, technology keeps on progressing, not only because of the changing times and environment, but also the ever progressing mind of mankind. So next. So, in one way or another, each person in the society is directly or indirectly affected by technology, whether he wills it or not. So, especially in these times, in these situation, we really need to connect and be there physically, gives this situation right now. So, number two, most people survive their everyday lives with great reliance to the different technological advancement already available for the masses. So I think we can all agree that we have great reliance with technology nowadays. So with this, we can say that technology really plays a vital role. Number three, technology is already So number three, technology is already an inevitable part of the society. So in that sense, technology is already inevitable part of the society. So di siya mawala, part na jud siya sa atong society. Next, questions to ponder. Is technology nowadays a necessity or a want? So I believe we all agree that technology is definitely a necessity. But if mangutana ko aning a question 15 or 20 years ago, then your answer would be no. Ngano? Because in that time, wala rata nagkinahanglan og technology. Now, to elaborate more about the reason why technology is a need, not a want. Next slide. Here's what technology offers: convenience, happiness, pleasure, and communication. So next slide. First, technology offers convenience. So technology has made life more convenient for people in many ways. For example, kung mag-shopping ta or natay paliton, technology can be used to like order items or products online, just like Shopee and Lazada. So no need na ta mo gawas-gawas para mo palit. So convenient kay siya para nato. So other example, when we are going on a trip, then wala ta katulto sa place. So instead of asking direction from people, we we could use Google Map, or we can ask Siri or Google. So, not just that, naapay mga dako pa na rason why daghan pang rason why technology is very convenient to us. Just like technology in education, karong pandemic nag-online class na lang ta. So, dako ka siyang tabang ang kaning technology para mapadayon jud pa nato atong pag-eskwela in spite sa atong situation karon. So other example is technology in healthcare, mga instruments and equipments used in the medical field to preserve the healthy lives of people, like advanced medical devices, mga machines nga makadetect og mga lain-lain na sakit. So gamit kani siya sa mga doctors. It makes their work easier and faster. And another, technology also helps us to have stronger infrastructures sa atong mga lugar. So, stronger infrastructures means better transportation, better schools, hospitals, and other municipal services, and access to healthcare and mga businesses po. So, usa na siya sa mga daghan pang rason, as I said, why technology is very convenient for us nowadays, and why this became necessity and is now a big part of our lives. Next slide. technology offers happiness and pleasure. So, connected na ning happiness and pleasure. So, for example, television, laptops, magtanaw tag movies like Netflix or cinema, magduwa og mga online games, mag-shopping online, and other entertainments. They are all part of technology by which they offer us happiness and pleasure. And lastly, next slide, communication. Technology offers communication. So, if you compare nato ang previous generation sa una o karon nga generation, it has really changed the way we communicate with each other around the world. Sa una, ang communication was done by traditional communication media. So people were communicating rather with each other through letters, right? So it was the toughest communication media because time consuming man siya. It takes days for the letters to arrive. So ang communication sa una was very slow and not effective. So karon ang traditional communication media na-replace na ni siya by digital communication media, which is mao na karon, such as mobile phones, different kinds of social media platforms, and many more. So nowadays it's hard to like find someone nga dili mag cellphone, right? Kasagaran na anay mobile phones o mga social media accounts, even mga bata na nay cellphone, right? So lisod kayo if wala kay phone and social media. Kay sa karon na generation adto na mag-communicate tanan. So pareho ni atong gibuhat karon, we used technology para maka-share tag information, para maka-discuss me, then you are there listening and learning this topic. So this is one example of an effective communication which is offered by technology. And next, so take note that anything too much is bad, or too much of everything is bad. So if masubraan ta gamit aning technologies like phones, social medias, and etc., this will lead us to physical issues like magka-eye strain ta, di na ta ka-focus sa atong mga dapat buhaton like mga important task, kay ma-distract naman ta. Unya maka-contribute pud ni siya sa kanang mga health issues such as depression. So it can also greatly affect our mental health. It can lead to depression, anxiety, poorer sleep quality, lower self-esteem, and many more. So, as the note said, too much of everything is bad. So, we should not overuse technology. Then, number two, various ethical dilemmas involving the use of technology's devices. So we should know this in order for us to be aware on what are those dilemmas are, ug para malikayan ni nato. So these ethical dilemmas will be discussed later on by Miss Neri. So lastly, misuse or invention to produce bad result. Of course, technology is there for us. Dako kay tabang ang technology nato to aid us to do good for us, not the opposite or the other way around. So, these are just simple and few reminder for you guys. So, this was just an introductory one about when technology and humanity cross. Now, let's proceed to the evolution and history of television, mobile phones, and computers and humanity, which will be discussed by Miss Povadora.
So good afternoon everyone. I am Rochi Provadora. So today I'm gonna tackle about the topics television sets, mobile phones, computers, and humanity. So before that, a number of the technology devices can be easily found inside sa atong balay, the most accessible place to anyone. Having said that, it can be easily inferred that these technological devices across all the age groups, almost all the households, if not all, own these types of devices. To be more specific, these celebrities in the field of technology are television sets, mobile phones, and computers. People all over the world use these technologies every day to accomplish different purposes. So let's start with the television. So this is our television here. It's kind old as we can see in the picture. It's black and white. So let's have a very brief timeline of where or when did television started. So television started in 1920s until 2010. So 1920s like mura siya forma og balay ang I mean the TV until through the decade TV grow both larger and slimmer. Pag 1990s ni slim siya unlike before. The next is according to Kantar according to Kantar Media in the Philippines, 92% of urban homes and 70% of rural homes own at least one television set. So households with TV set reach more than 15 million according to NUDA 2012. So the question is, what would this imply? So imagine there are 92% of urban homes and 70% of rural homes has own television set. So simply it would imply that television has a great impact in our society as a whole. It becomes us more connected. It shows us information programs like the news, documentaries, and sports events. Ultimate medium for advertisement placements, like for example, um, advertisement for product, foods, or etc. Like through television, they can profit into it. So next is almost all use this particular type of this device. Like what I've said earlier, that there are 92% of urban homes and 70% of rural homes has owned one television sets. The next is television plays a great role in the lives of the people. So let's have a brief history of the television. So Paul Gottlieb Nepko 1860 to 1940. He was a German technician and inventor. He invented the Nepco desk, which lead to the foundation of television. Then he successful in his attempt to send images through wires with the aid of a rotating metal desk or Nepco desk. It has electric telescope, had 18 lines with resolution. So, mao ni siya ang kaning rotate kani mao ni siya ang circle. Na siya hole dira, then through that maka through the wire it can send images. Then next is Alan Archibald Campbell Swinton and Boris Rosing. So Boris Rosing is a Russian inventor. He invented this part of television. Kani siya kani. Then new system of television by using cathode ray tube in addition to the mechanical scanner system. So that's why our television had a bumpy back because that's where they put the cathode desk or kaning nasa kaning burot sa loyo mao na dira ang cathode desk. Then the next is mobile phones. This is one of the example of mobile phones right now. So let's have a very brief short evolution of the mobile phones here. So it started in 1983 to 2007. So in 1983, it is the Motorola, and until 2007, Apple or iPhone. It has a big changes jud din. Maingon ta sa una nga mas ligon siya, but mas sa atong perception karon mas nindot ang sa karon kaysa sa una kay In the past, mobile phones, it limited to use. They can only use it when they want to call someone or text. Unlike right now, you can be able to download videos, watching movies in YouTube, playing music, games, and many more. Then, so the question, the mobile phones, the question is how does the mobile phones impact us as a Filipino, and how did the mobile phone change our perception? So Filipinos love to use their mobile phones anywhere and anytime. So tinuod jud ni. Then more than half of the Filipino population at least one mobile phone regardless of, of type. Then one out of three Filipino cannot live without mobile phone. Epso Media Philippines Nationwide Urban Survey 2011 and 2012. So there is a fun facts. The first call ever made on a cell phone was from an engineer named Martin Cooper, calling a rival engineer to brag about his accomplishments. That was the first pic I showed you a while ago that Cooper uses a Motorola for his ever made call. So katong pinakauna jud katong Motorola. Then next is laptops and computers. Not possible for all Filipino to own at least one computer or laptops because laptops and computers are quite expensive compared to cellphone. Na ang cellphone kay makaya ra siya na siya baratuhon compare sa laptop nga naa siya less expensive siya but di nato siya makaya nga paliton. The next is most profits by computer and laptops manufactured from the offices, business or schools. The next is growing number of internet users in the Philippines. Thus, there are problems regarding the internet providers. So in Southeast Asia, we are one with the worst internet connection, Jude. Then we hope that we can solve it. Next is Charles Babbage. Charles Babbage was known as the father of the computer. Then he was an English mathematician and inventor who is credited with having conceived the first automatic digital computer. So mao ni kanina sa ubos. Then next is released on June 1981 by the Osborne Computer Corporation. The Osborne 1 is considered to be the first true portable full-featured computer. So mao ni siya mas kuyaw siya forma sa karon kaysa sa una. Kay ka sa una ang kakaron kay murag mas dali nato siyang ma operate kaysa ka sa una nga murag lisod kay sa tan-aw no murag gamay ra kay siya space. The next is mobile phones. Facts about Filipino underuse of gadgets and internet. So mobile phone subscription at 119 million. Then Philippines has one of the highest digital population in the world. Then we are using mobile phone at least 3.2 hours on mobile and 5.2 hours on the laptop or desktop daily or every day. Then 47 million active Facebook accounts. Then lastly, faster growing application in Southeast Asia. So thank you. That's all. Then let's proceed to Miss Angel Neri.
Di na ako mods. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mary Angel S. Neri, and I will discuss the ethical dilemma faced by technological advancement. So, what is ethical dilemma? Ethical dilemma is a situation in which difficult choice has to be made between two or more alternatives, especially equally undesirable ones. And and it is a basic leadership to conceivable good objectives, neither of which ambitiously worthy or ideal. Next. So we have two negative effects in technology. First, most parents would argue that these devices make their children lazy and unhealthy. So yes, this is true because murag na kakuan naman sad mo ni, di ba? Matapol ta, like masige nang tagamit og cellphone because kuan mo god, most of the children or kita are just scrolling on their phones, laying down in their rooms. Yeah, and make nya mahimo kanang makuan sad nato anang masakit at pud anit sige tagamit og cellphone niya di na ta mo lihok sa tanan, like pareha sa gingon ni Napoles. So two, people are freely exposed to different things on television, mobile phones, laptop, or computer. So sa tanan-tanang nakuha na to, like mobile phones, daghan tag mga kuan, Facebook nang daghan kay makita sa kuan Facebook, like marketplace, like Shopee, Lazada, daghan di siya makuan sa kuan, like daghan ta makita jud. So that's all. The next reporter is Lemuel Cesario.
Okay, okay, guys. Good afternoon. This is Lemol Necesario, and I will gonna talk about robotics technology. So when we say robotics technology,
Next slide, please.
all right. So when we say robots, the objective of robotics field is to create intelligent machines that can assist humans in a variety of ways. So it's like the main objective of robotics is to assist humans. So robotics, next slide. All right. So robotics can take on a number of forms. A robot may resemble a human, or it may be in a form of robotic application, such as robotic process automation or RPA, which simulates how humans engage with software to perform repetitive and role-based tasks. So, what is a robot? A robot is the product of a robotics field, where programmable machines are built that can assist humans or mimic humans' actions. Robots were originally built to handle monotonous tasks like building cars on an assembly line, but have since expanded well beyond their initial uses to perform tasks like fighting fires, cleaning homes, and assisting with incredibly intricate surgeries. Each robot has differing level of autonomy, ranging from human-controlled bots that carry out tasks that a human has full control over to fully autonomous robots that perform tasks without any external influences. So it's like robots is um used for to assess humans or to act like humans. It can mimic or it is a mimic human actions. So in robotic technology, there are three laws of robotic. The first one or the first law is that a robot shall not harm a human or by inaction allow a human to come to harm. So it shall not harm human. So the second law is that a robot shall obey any instructions given to it by a human. So as what I've said that robot the objective of robot is to assist human. So the second law for that one is to obey on what human or what instructions given by human. And the last one or the third law is that a robot shall avoid actions or situations that could cause it to come to harm itself. And according to according to Isaac Asimov, introduced the three laws of robotics, engineering safeguards and built-in ethical principles that he would go on to use it dozens of stories and novels. They were, first, a robot may not injure a human being or, through inaction, allow a human being to come to harm, and also to protect robot itself.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Charisse Unreal, and I will be the one to tackle about the ethical dilemmas faced by robots. Just like any other technological advancement, robotics also faces different problems and dilemmas. Although the idea is to help people and make their lives a lot easier than before, it is still not immune to different ethical dilemmas and possible undesirable outcomes. Next slide. Ethical dilemmas faced by robots. One of the dilemmas faced by robot is safety. Who should be held accountable if someone's safety is compromised by a robot? Who should be blamed? The robot, the user, or the inventor of the robot? It is important to know who should be blamed and who should be held responsible if such things happens. Another ethical dilemma faced by robots is the emotional component. This may seem a little absurd as of the moment, but looking at how fast technology progresses nowadays, it is not completely impossible if robots develop emotions. So here the questions become, what if robots become sentient? They're able to feel. Should they be granted robot rights? Should they have their own set of rights to be upheld, respected, and be protected by humans? It is interesting to know how people would react if the time comes when robots can already feel pain and pleasure. Would they act differently or not at all? Using Asimov's laws for robots, it can be concluded that robots are ethical, but only if they strictly follow the laws specified. They are ethical mostly because the laws formulated by Asimov ensure the safety of not only the users, the technology, but also the people around him. Remember that these service robots are already available to the public, that they can already be found inside the homes, having said that the safety of not only the owner of the technology, but also the people inside the house should the priority more than anything else. In other words, the service robot only follow what their master tells them, with the great consideration of the laws formulated by Asimov. Next slide, Mads. Whose fault? Is this the fault of technology, the fault of the inventor, or the user? To answer this question, the ethics of responsibility may point us to a particular direction. If the user using the technology misuse the robots to achieve personal agendas,
Without a doubt, the user should be held accountable for any consequences it may bring. It is important to note that this is under the assumption that the robot strictly followed the laws specified without any form of deviation. If the problem arises and the robot deviates from the laws specified, then the maker or the inventor of the machine should be blameworthy. It just means that the robot was not programmed very well because it violated the laws. Other problems may arise when the machine develops the ability to think for itself. In this case, the one that should be blamed can be both the maker of the robot and the robot itself. This is because, in the first place, the maker gave the robot the capacity to think for itself, so he should be very much aware of its possible consequences. To put it in addition, since the robot thinks for itself whatever decision it makes and whatever consequences it may bring, the robot itself should be held responsible. For the second dilemma, it is just right for the robot to be given their own set of rights. Should they develop the ability to feel different kind of emotion, it can be argued that the same thing happened with animals. Before, animals did not have their own set of rights because people believed that they were not capable of having emotions. However, after years of testing and experimenting, it was concluded that the animals are indeed capable of emotion. It is for this reason that people decided to give them rights that are due to them. The same should be done to robots. Without any reservation, should that time come, they ought to be treated differently and they ought to have new laws to follow in order to accommodate the new characteristics they have developed.
So that would be the end of this lesson, when technology and humanity cross. We hope you guys listened well and learned from our discussion. So thank you guys and God bless.